Hello, everybody. Welcome to Project Riverside. I am Steve, your host. I'm so glad you're here today. Today, we are talking about James chapter 3, verse 13 through the end, 13 to 18. And James says, "Who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in humility that comes from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom, quote unquote, does not come down from heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and every evil practice. But the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers, verse 18, who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness." Back here at the beginning in verse 13, "Who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life." Here, James is wrapping in the theme that he had earlier about works, faith, and deeds, and the wisdom that brings the faith and deeds. So he's connecting one of the key themes, wisdom, with the earlier theme of works. And the good deeds and the good life done in humility that comes from wisdom. Now, the wisdom that James is talking about, he actually talks about in earlier, chapter 1, verse 5. The wisdom is not just acquired information, but it's a practical insight with spiritual implications. Let me reread that. Wisdom is not acquired information, but practical insight with spiritual implications. Verse 5 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." So he's talking here about the wisdom that comes from God. It's not being smarter. It's not gaining knowledge here on earth. It's gaining the information that God grants you and gives to you, right? And then some people are a little confused when you hear from heaven. Back in Daniel, they talk about what that means. And so a lot of people will go back to Daniel 4:26, right? And in 4:26, we'll find it right here. I had it marked and I lost it. "This command I leave to you to stump up a tree with its roots means that your kingdom will be restored to you when you acknowledge the heavenly rules." So what's that mean? 4:26 is talking about the Jewish referring to God as heaven or kingdom of heaven. And the Old Testament or the New Testament uses it quite a bit, the kingdom of heaven or from heaven, and it's what they were using to talk about God and how it's coming from God, from heaven where he resides. Verse 14, "But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth." So if you've got envy, selfish ambition, it may not be outward. You may be thinking about it. It may come from your heart. Don't say anything about it. Really what you need to be doing is asking God for his forgiveness, because that wisdom is not from God. Selfishness is not something that comes from God. But the wisdom that does come from God, from heaven, is pure, peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial, and sincere. Right? Godly wisdom is that we're going to do the best we can do to have peace with everybody. We are going to submit to the wisdom coming from God. We're going to hear what he has to say. We're going to ask him for wisdom if we do not have wisdom. And then we're going to listen to it and put it into practice. Full of mercy. God's a merciful God. He's forgiven me. He forgives you if you ask for it. He's full of mercy, and we should be also. Because God's been merciful to us, we need to be merciful to others. There's several stories in the New Testament talking about people who had been giving mercy and then turn around and make somebody else pay for what they owe or are not merciful to them. And God says that's wrong. Don't do it. You're going to be considerate. You're going to produce good fruit. You're going to be impartial. Right? We're not to judge, and it's so hard. It's hard not to judge, right? It's all around us. We hear it, we see it, we're part of it. We need to not be judgmental. We must be sincere. Sincere tells us that we must be honest. It doesn't mean you must be strict, right? It's just you're telling the truth. You want to be honest. You want to make sure people know that you're serious about your faith and about your walk with Jesus. And then verse 18, peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. Right? So I'm sure we've all heard the saying, you reap what you sow. Most likely this is where it comes from. James chapter 3 verse 18. If you sow in peace, you will reap righteousness. So hey, as I've said before, as I've heard growing up many, many times on my way out the door to school, I forget who it is and I will look it up. Walk with the King today and be a blessing.